So we move on to Mission Impossible Ghost Protocol. This is the only one that I have on the, out of the collection by itself, along with the collection, but, solo. This one is my favorite so far. I haven't watched the other two. According to Rotten Tomatoes, Fallout is the best. On my Vudu, you can see the Rotten Tomatoes. So, according to that, Fallout's the best. But, we'll see. This one, man, from the moment I started to the moment it ended, I was just so into it, man. This is just... It's a little confusing when you're binge watching them. When you're watching them after each other, and you go from the ending of the third one, and all of a sudden you start with this one, and he's in a Russian prison. You go, did I miss something? He's in a Russian prison now, after the happy ending from the third one. It's just like... It's like trying to take the triangle block and put it in the circle hole. Like when you're a kid, they don't fit. So it's very confusing to go from that to this and be like, huh? But it's, it happens. He's in a Russian prison. Apparently he killed 6 Serbians. And we find out that later what that was all about. But he's been released thanks to Benji and Agent Carter. Not that Agent Carter. This isn't the Marvel Universe. Different Agent Carter. She's played by Paula Patton. And they've freed them. And then later we have Jeremy Renner, who plays William Brandt, who is an analyst working with the Secretary. But the Secretary, played by Tom Wilkinson, he is murdered by Russians. And so now he has to join Hunt's team. What happens is there's a mission where they go to the Kremlin. And I'm not sure what the Kremlin is, but I assume it's equal to our White House or Capitol building. And then the UK have Downing Street. I assume it's equal to those. But a bomb goes off in it, which is set off by our villain. We'll get to him. But yeah, and so because of this, the IMF are blamed for it and are disavowed. The entire IMF is disavowed because of this. And so now Hunt's team has to work together to finish the mission, clear their name. That's what it is. And this mission starts actually during, before the credits stuff, before they even go to rescue him. Josh Holloway is running on a mission and is murdered by this assassin. And it turns out that he was the lover, Carter's lover, and so she wants revenge. And I think she has a good motivation. I think they give the new characters in this film good backstories. Like, she's out to get revenge, and then you have Brandt, who has a connection to Hunt. As it turns out, we have this great scene where it's just him, Benji, and Carter, and they're talking, they're having a drink, and he talks about he was on a mission where he was tasked with watching a husband and wife, protecting them. The husband went out for a jog or a run, and he followed the husband, left the 2 others there to watch the wife. When they got back, the wife was gone, and his 2 associates were unconscious. And they found what was left of her body later. And this turns out to be Julia, Ethan Hunt's wife. He slipped up by leaving, and she died. But you think if he stayed there, then Hunt would have died. Although we find out something else later, and we'll get to that. But yeah, so he has a backstory, and it's connected to Hunt, and it works. It really works, and there are some good sequences in this film. There's this sequence where he's on that building in Dubai, and he's clinging, but the gadgets don't work. They have problems with making the masks, and he's having a hard time climbing on there because one of the things doesn't work. So he has to he has one, so he has to find another way to, to get up, and then he's trying to get down, and he throws the thing down, and he swings down, but it's not long enough. So he has to swing himself over and let go and hope someone can catch him. You know, to send Jeremy Renner in an elevator shaft and throw him down and stuff like that. They're on their own, basically. And they gotta do things on the fly, and it works. There's a sandstorm chase where you got Tom Cruise, you got Ethan Hunt just running, power running like he did at the end of the third one, just running from the sandstorm. Should he be able to escape it? No, but he does because Ethan Hunt is invincible. And yeah, let me talk about the villain for a minute. After that great performance from Philip Seymour Hoffman, we get Mikhail Nyqvist. Sorry if I butchered the name. You may know him from John Wick. He's the main villain of John Wick. But here, he's so unimportant that he's barely in the film. You see him towards the beginning before the Kremlin explodes. They talk about him a lot, but he's barely in the damn film. At all. He's so unimportant, so uninteresting that they don't even care to show him through the film. Even the villain of the worst film, Mission Impossible 2, Dougray Scott, at least it was shown throughout the film. Here, you barely get anything from the villain. Barely at all. Probably the worst villain of the franchise. I don't know about the other two, but probably the worst. I'm just saying. I enjoy the new characters in this film. I'm excited to see more from Jeremy Renner in the next film. I know Paul Patton's not in it, but I'm excited to see more from him. Although I know he's not in Fallout, so my hopes are kind of in the middle. But I hope I'm not right about what happens to him. But anyway, don't spoil it in the comments, by the way. Let me do when I watch, okay? Yeah. So let's talk about the ending. So this movie ends with, after they've succeeded, they have this meeting between the four of them. Luther's there, and Luther, you know, basically has his little cameo and he walks off. Maybe Ving Rhames is busy, I don't know. And so then Ethan puts 3 tapes on the table and says, your mission, choose to accept it. Benji takes his, Carter takes hers, but Brandt just gets up and walks away. But Hunt brings him back, they talk, and Brandt basically tells him what happened. And Ethan Hunt says, how do you know my wife is dead? He goes, there was a body. He goes, did you see it? He goes, well. And so he basically tells him that the whole thing was set up to protect his wife. As long as, you know, they're together, he can't protect her. She's in danger. And this whole time he's talking, they keep going back to seeing a woman walking on the street, and each time getting a little bit closer. Finally, you see that it's Julia. And, so yeah. She's still alive. And so then he takes the tape, Brandt takes the tape and walks off. And we get this great scene of Hunt standing there, and he's standing at the pier, he's looking at her. And she goes to walk into a store, and she turns her head and she sees him. And she just smiles, and he smiles. She waves at him, and he smiles back at her. And he walks up, he's got the hood on, and he's, you know, listen to the thing, your mission, should you choose to accept it. And they mentioned something about the Syndicate, which I'm assuming is in the next film. And then this fog comes over him, and he's just gone. And then they look like they're going to start up but it doesn't. It just starts playing generic rock music in the or something like that. In the credits, I'm like, man, you got to build up for it too. But no, it's like, it's not even the theme song. It's just generic rock music. Overall, I love this movie. I think it's the best so far. I haven't seen the other two, but I think it's the best. Like I said, according to Rotten Tomatoes, Fallout is better, but we'll see. I love this film. I really enjoy it. From the, you know, Brad Bird, for someone, this is his first live action film that he did. For doing most of the animation, he did very well. And this is very good. Before I go, though, let's talk about the alternate ending. Because originally, Ethan Hunt was going to retire. And the franchise was going to get passed on to someone else. Whether it was going to be Jeremy Renner or not remains to be seen, but it was going to be handed off. But this was changed. Because I guess after the third one didn't perform so well, they wanted to kind of end Cruz's affiliation and move on. And I guess maybe he was all for it, I guess. I don't know specifically. But they changed it. And Brad Bird said he actually changed the ending so that people wouldn't get mad about killing off Julia the way they got mad about killing off the characters from Aliens in Alien 3. So they changed sort of a happy ending between him and Julia, which is actually pretty cool. So yeah, I'm going to give this film a 9 out of 10. I really enjoy it. I think it's the best so far. Yeah, what else can I say? 9 out of 10, right? So make sure to like, share, and subscribe. Let me know in the comments below what you think about Mission Impossible Ghost Protocol. Make sure to like, share, and subscribe. Thank you for watching. I've been Scotty. See you in the next one. Ichinos.